Thank you. Donis Allen is the full name. I live on Lapham Farm Road here in town. A lot of really good comments tonight, so I don't want to say much more than just a couple of general points that I'd like to make. A resident of town, my family has been in this town since 1778. So we have a lot of history with the farming community that exists here, and I think we have a lot of pride in recognizing that. You know, we are the smallest state in the country, and if you look at us, you look at the general wind direction, if you were to pick a place on the map that would most adversely affect the state of Rhode Island, I think Burrillville would probably be the worst place you could put the plant to impact people in terms of the prevailing winds. It's typically from the northwest, west. I think that's an initial observation that I think should be recognized statewide, not necessarily just in Burrillville. And I'd like to point out too, energy, and this is something that why we're all here, because energy is not like your average commodity. You can go buy a suit or a shirt or a pair of shoes. Energy is something we all need. So the oversight that is required in siting these facilities, I think should go to looking at forcing companies. Now, I'm a free market guy, but when you're dealing with the merging of government and business, like what we see in energy production, that oversight has to be far more substantial. And you need to say, if you're going to play ball in this arena, there are things that you need to do for the citizens. And that means, you know, locating your plant at a facility that is going offline. You don't put it in a pristine forest. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I can't think of what else you could do. It doesn't make sense. And you know, I think, you know, our town council has done a really good job at trying to remain neutral during this investigative process, unlike our governor, who seemed to come out with cheerleading this effort right from the get-go. That speaks to a huge conflict of interest, especially given how your positions are, if I understand correctly, appointed by the governor. Is that, am I understanding that correctly? And it seems to me that her history of, you know, quote-unquote, fixing the pension plan seems to set a precedent that I don't believe we can trust necessarily like we would like to, what she says her intentions are. And so that sets me, you know, back. I mean, I was just given some information. Now, our pension fund for the teachers in the town of Burrillville is, I believe, $20 million underfunded, and we've actually provided and paid the requirement into the pension to make that right. So in the state's portion is like 13 million short. So, you know, you look at other towns and cities, and they're in the same boat, and you know, she's hailed as having fixed the pension. So I don't trust her, and it seems like we're vetting her after the fact. You know, this woman has a history and relationship with, you know, for example, the Council on Foreign Relations. And so I like to point those things out because there are hidden agendas, in my opinion, with her. And so I think that the fact that she came out cheerleading this event right from the very beginning is very suspect. And I'd like to applaud the council for taking their time and trying to do this, at least in terms of appearances, trying to listen to everybody's sides and then make an informed decision at the end of this process. So I think everyone else, I've heard some of the most incredible testimony tonight from some informed citizens, so I'm going to let them continue with their comments. Thank you. Thank you very much.